You need a T40 Torx 14mm socket, 15mm socket, breaker bar, ratchet, impact is really helpful. Welcome back to the channel. Today we've got a 2010 Ford Fusion or Mercury Milan. They're both the same car. This car is actually the Milan, and we will be doing the front brakes, pads and rotors. And we have recently done an outer tie rod on the front left and rear sway bar end links. Alright, you can see we've got the wheel off. One thing I want to show you, on the rotor you've got two bolts that hold the rotor to the hub, and sometimes these can be a bear to get out, and if you're working on your car and they're not there, that's kind of normal. People don't always put them back, but I'm going to show you two different methods to remove these. One is just a breaker bar and a T40. Okay, so that was pretty easy. I have seen these where they're really stuck on, and in that case you'll want an impact driver and make sure that it's set to the proper setting here. It's got reverse, or it's got right and left on it. And we want to loosen, so we'll make sure it's loose. And then you want a decent sized persuader. This is the 4-pound sledgehammer. It should do the job. Alright, so now we'll go ahead and take a look at the back side of the calipers and see what size sockets we're going to need back there. So for this upper bolt, I believe it's going to be a 13, same as the bottom bolt. Right here. Why is that so hard? Right there. And then we'll be taking that one off. That's probably an 18. But I'll get you exact sizes when we get to it. Alright, so this top bolt is a 14mm, and then the caliper bracket bolt is a 15mm. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this bolt and this bolt. We'll get the caliper out of the way. So I have this disc brake caliper tool set, and it is basically just to push the piston back in, and I'll leave a link in the description below, but it is from OEM and the part number is 27111. Alright, so we've got the piston pushed all the way back in for the caliper. I'm going to use a couple wire ties to hold the caliper out of the way while we do some more work. So all I'm trying to do here is just keep the caliper from falling, and I don't want it to hold, hang by its own hose, so I go ahead and tie it up or use a bungee cord or baling wire. You can use just about anything to hold it up out of the way. So now I'm going to go ahead and get the brake pads off. get the caliper bracket off. We've got the caliper bracket off. Get the old hardware off of it. Check the sides. We'll go ahead and remove this rotor. And we'll open the new ones and get the new rotors on and start putting the new hardware on the caliper bracket after we clean it up. Got the new rotor here. Go ahead and spray some brake parts cleaner on it, get the grease off. Alright, we'll go ahead and get this in place and reinstall our screws. I always like to start a screw before I put an impact or a drill on it, just so I don't get them cross-threaded. Alright, so now we are going to clean up the caliper where the hardware goes and check the slides. We'll go ahead and check the sides first because, yeah. So this is pretty dry. You can see rust was starting to form, and we're probably pretty lucky that it hadn't seized. It's probably getting pretty close. And that would be the top bolt. And usually the bottom bolt's the one that's worse, but it actually looks better than the top. So we're going to go ahead and re-grease these, install those. Alright, so unfortunately this brake pad set didn't come with hardware, so I'll have to reuse the old hardware. I'm just going to go ahead and grease up the contact points. So we'll go ahead and put the caliper bracket back on. And for those of you wondering, that was the proper Ford spec for the caliper bolts. I'll get you that number, throw it up on the screen if that's a concern. So now we need to put the pads in. On a pad set, you're going to have the squealer, and that typically is on the inside. Alright, so now we can cut the caliper free. Alright, so that's it for the brake job. You need a T40 Torx 14mm socket, 15mm socket, breaker bar, ratchet, impact is really helpful. So if you enjoyed this video, I'm also going to be making a video and changing the sway bar end lengths. So look forward to that coming, and I've already got a couple other videos out on this car, outer tie rod and rear sway bar end links. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. If you have any advice for people watching this video, put those in the comments below. Those have been pretty helpful, in my opinion, getting more information to the people trying to do these jobs. I know I'm not a professional. These are videos of the way I'm doing the work that I need to do. I hope you at least get some benefit and some knowledge. So we're going to go ahead and pump the brakes. That way we get the fluid back through the reservoir, and then we'll do the other side, but it'll be just the same as this side here. Thanks for watching, and I appreciate